This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 5. Verse 6. It says, "But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him." Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops, a great millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings be multiplied on all you brethren out there teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect, 144,000, and the rest of the men, women, and children that will receive mercy from the Lord in these last days. I'm the brother Dama Agabar, here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Yahweh Shai. All right, this is going to be a quick lesson through the spirit. I was coming home from the gym, and this scripture was in my head. It just kept popping into my mind. And we understand that, hey, man, without this faith, which is a gift from the Most High, it is impossible to please Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And this is where the majority of our people are going to fail and fall short because they have a zeal of the Most High. A lot of our people are caught up in Christianity. They're caught up in all these other doctrines of the world, but they, continuously, deny Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and this 100% truth that is being brought to them through the spirit of the Most High, through the elders and the apostles, first and foremost, a great millstone, and the men under them. All right. They ultimately do not have faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. That's why, we're receiving such backlash. We're receiving such hate. And it's mainly from our people because they don't truly have the faith or the gift of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. And they truly don't believe that the Most High is. You see, but for us, the true man of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the hopeful elect, Lord willing, hey, our faith is totally in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man, and what comes with that is, everything that requires faith, which is ultimately, not having our faith and trust in this world. For our faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, it comes with a lot of losses, mainly worldly things that the average person or the average Jake, are not willing to give up or, lose for the faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. This is why a lot of guys don't want to have street ministries. They don't want to fully come into this truth. Now, they'll accept the fact that, yeah, we are the people of the book. We are the Israelites, but that's about as far as Jake will go, because ultimately their faith is not totally 100% in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And that's something that we all got to pray that we continuously have and that the Lord don't take that from us. Because the moment we lose faith in this truth and everything that is written within the scriptures, everything that is promised, everything that we're out there preaching, hey, man, you're going to fall short and you're not going to be rewarded at the end of the day. And that's something that those of us who are sincerely in this truth is hoping for, to be rewarded. All right. And what does that reward include? Eternal life, having the law, statutes, and commandments being put in our inward parts, being delivered from Jacob's trouble, being delivered from the hands of our enemies, being delivered out of this captivity, from the being under the yoke of Esau, Edom, the nuclear missiles, and gaining back everything that we have lost and that we have given up for bearing our cross and, going after Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. And, and when you say it, it sounds like, oh, this is an easy thing, but it's really not an easy thing. You got a lot of guys that came into this truth that fell out because the particular, things that they had to lose to gain Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, whether it was wives, children, women, jobs, money, shit. Some people even fall out because, they don't want to take the ridicule or to be looked at as crazy or looked at as a hate group or a doctrine full of hate. You got hate in your heart and all this other bullshit that these unbelievers and simple-minded Jake say, from the affairs and the cares of this life. A lot of guys, has lost faith in the Most High because of that. And immediately they'll say, well, this can't be the truth. I didn't sign up for all this, yada, yada, yada. But hey, the scriptures tell you that once you come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. And, and this thing comes with, it's a sacrifice at the end of the day. You see, but Jake want this. They want, to come in this truth, upon their own terms. It's like I said, some Jake come into this truth with a time limit on how long they're going to wait for the Most High. If it gets too hot, if they have to lose too much, if particular offenses come or, them being offended, to a particular extent, hey, they'll find an excuse to believe that this is not the truth, and their faith in the Most High will wither. Like the parable says, some Jake is built upon different foundations, and particular things will be the thing. Particular things will be something that'll take Jake out of the truth, man. You see, because what ultimately their faith is, their faith withered. It was small. It got weak, and therefore, they took their hands off the plow. They went back into the world. Their faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai waned, man. All right. But those of us who are of the household of faith, man, hey, we're going to continuously diligently to seek Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, because we understand the great reward that is coming with this thing. And that's something that a lot of Jake has lost, because they've been in America. They got this microwave mind frame. Jake don't want to suffer. Jake don't want to be uncomfortable. Jake don't want to have to, put on as the elect. And that comes with a lot of hell, a lot of stress, a lot of lonely days, lonely thoughts, sacrifices, like I said, and you'll lose particular things, things that might be near and dear to your heart. You lose friends, you lose job, you lose money, you lose opportunities, you'll lose so-called friends. Shit, you'll even lose family members. Your parents might end up hating you or not want anything to do with you because of the fact that you have total faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You see, and that sometimes, can wear and tear on your heart, man. But hey, at the end of the day, the mission is to win Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And one thing you have to understand is that, hey, whatever we lost on this side, we'll gain back. And, Job is a prime example of that. All right. So I want to go to this word rewarder. All right. I'm not going to try to make this video too long, but let's go to the word for a rewarder. See, and the word here is misthopodotes. All right. And it says what? One who pays wages, a rewarder. But I want to go to the root word because it gives a better example. Here we go. And the word mistos, right? It says dues paid for work. And are not we doing the work? Are not we going out there on the highways and the byways? Reading, studying, going into the Greek, going into the Hebrew, sacrificing a lot of our time and energy and learning this truth and teaching this truth. Sometimes, our part of this work is being so caught up in the word. Your wife might feel neglected. You might have to neglect your family. You don't have all the time in the world to be father of the year, to be a boyfriend of the year, so-called fiance of the year, But ultimately, hey, we have a job and work to do for Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, our employer, our boss, And eventually, hey, it's going to pay off, man. And one thing about this truth is it's not some instant gratification. A lot of Jake think you come into this truth and you're going to just be blessed. You're going to, all of a sudden, you're going to come into all this money. You're going to have success. Your life is going to go perfect. That's a worldly Christianity type of, thought pattern, because what Jake think that godliness is gain, but no, in reality, when you come to serve the Lord, hey, like I said, you got to prepare that soul for temptation, man. Satan is always attacking you. Things are always trying to pull you out of the truth. You're constantly being bombarded with unbelievers, worldly thoughts, the cares of this life, and if you let it overwhelm you and you let it overtake you, hey, like I said, it can make your faith to wane and get small. The next thing you know, this ain't the truth anymore. Your faith in the Most High, you'll lose it. And then, you'll go back into this world, kind of do everything to please, your wife, your children, your wife start threatening you. I'm going to leave. You always in that Bible. You always with the brothers. You ain't got time for me, and it might cause your wife to step out on you. Lord willing, that don't happen. But we know things like this has happened. But it's all part of, trials and tests. That's part of particular brothers' battle that they have in this truth to test their faith. And some individuals, that could be the breaking point, you see, and that could cause their faith to wane, because they might think, if the Most High was with me, he wouldn't allow that to happen. Well, hey, maybe that's a test that the Lord put before you to see if you truly believed in him, and then here it is. I show you how the Lord works. I've seen this happen where guys fell out of the truth because they didn't want to lose their wives and lose their family. And when they, gave in and basically, let their wife or their family, take this truth away from them. And then she got you to leave the, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai to come and to, please them. She ended up leaving the nigga anyway, once she, because ultimately, hey, she's going to feel like she conquered you. And that's the Most High showing you, look, okay, well, you didn't believe. Well, that is going to be the thing that's going to overcome you and destroy you. And the next thing you know, Jake is all bugged out and out of his mind, and he hates the truth. He hates the elders and the apostles were to blame. The Bible ain't real. We've seen plenty of examples of this. See, but this is why we got to pray that our faith doesn't wane or get weak and we lose that. You see? But it says here, reward use of the fruit naturally resulting from toils and endeavors. You see, and our toils and our endeavors is in this truth. But like I said, one thing about Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, our reward is not going to come right now. It's going to be in the kingdom. It comes with suffering and patience. But hey, you got to believe and know the Lord is not a man that he should lie. Hey, and when the men of the Lord get blessed, and when we finally get rewarded with the Lord, hey, the payoff is going to be, man, it's going to be beyond words, man. All right. It's going to be beyond anything that we ever have hoped for, everything that our fleshly minds could even comprehend. Hey, the Lord's going to break us off something real, real proper, man. But like I said, hey, it comes with suffering. It comes with toils. It comes with endeavors. It comes with, long nights, long days, But we just got to maintain and remain faithful. And the Lord's going to pay, man. It's going to pay. All right. And it says, be of the rewards which the Most High bestows or will bestow upon good deeds and endeavors. It says a primary word, pay for service, literally or figuratively. And ours is going to be literally, man. Hey, this truth has a huge payout, man. But it takes faith. That's why when you keep reading down in Hebrews, which I'm not going to read all of it, you hear about the faith of Noah. You hear about the faith of Abraham. All these examples of our forefathers whose, faith never waned, but it came with, it took patience. It took suffering. It was a long process, but it always hit. And it's going to be no different with us in these last days, man. All right. And this is Matthew chapter 19, verse 27. It says what? The disciples' reward. It says, and then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And one thing I was thinking about, when you read about when Yahweh Shai came and got Peter and his brother, it says that they were with their father fishing, and that was, I'm sure, their family business. But when Yahweh Shai came to Peter and his brother, hey, they straight up just left their father and left the nets, left their occupation, left their livelihood, and followed Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Now, the scriptures don't say this, it don't go into it, but I can only imagine. Can you imagine the rift that probably created between Peter, his brother, and his father? You don't feel that their father, was pissed off, didn't have words. Probably didn't have some type of criticism or somewhat hatred for, his sons for leaving their livelihood, leaving, their family business and going and following Yahweh Shai. You don't think that created issues and problems between them? Like I said, they don't say that it did in the scriptures, but I can only imagine. You got to put yourself in that situation. Shit, look at the hell that we cats for, leaving all and going and following Yahweh Shai. Look how our family reacts. Look how your woman might respond. People in the world that you might know. They all catch some type of attitude or look at you some type of way. Scriptures even tell you that once you come into this truth, those people that you were once close with, they start to look at you sideways. They start to call you crazy. They, speak ill about you, because you no longer, walk with them in the ways of the world. So I can only imagine, shit, their father, their father probably said, look, I don't want to see you again. Get out of my house. You're dead to me. Who knows the situation. But the point being was that, hey, it's going to be a great reward for us that are making our bodies a living sacrifice and that are forsaking all. And that's what Peter said. We have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahweh Shai said unto them, verily I say unto you that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, what's that? In the kingdom, ultimately, when we're changed, when we got the law, statutes, and commandments in our inward parts, when we're made perfect, hey, the Lord's he's going to break us off something, man. He's going to reward us. We're going to receive our wages that we have toiled in all of these endeavors and hours that we lost, and, not hours that we lost, but, things that we sacrificed in this world to follow Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And that's why you can never let the incredulity or none of these Christians, none of these people coming up to the camp talking shit, your family, so-called friends, the people of this world, all these individuals trying to, the vocab Malone's trying to, make you unbelieve and not have faith, and people telling you that, oh, the Bible contradicts itself, and oh, you Hebrew Israelites are crazy, we're breaking, we're destroying Hebrew Israelism, and y'all a hate group. You can't let none of those things, break you or make you believe that this is not the truth, man. See, this is why we got to pray that our faith continuously gets stronger and stronger, and that we don't allow those things to fuck with our minds, But it says that they which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye shall also sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. You see, we're going to be put in a royal position. We're going to be sitting on thrones. We're going to be the judges. We're going to be, high ranking members of the righteous kingdom of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, a position that can never diminish. It's not going to be like in this world, man, where you see Jake get up on a certain level, become millionaires, even a few of them become billionaires, but it's all for a corruptible crown. It's all in vanity. It all wither and it all dies, and it all is going to be burnt at the end of the day by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. But what he's going to offer us is never going to fade away. All right. It's going to be a continual badge of an immortal honor and glory that we're going to receive, man. And the reward is going to constantly, grow in value, man. And that's worth fighting for. That's worth losing everything in this world to receive what Yahweh Shai is going to reward us with. And it says, and everyone that had forsaken houses or brethren or sister or father or mother or wife or children or lands, for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold. So if you lost one wife, guess what? The Lord's going to give you 100. If you lost one house, or a family, hey, the Lord's going to give you 100 more, man, and shall inherit everlasting life. And with that, eternity, man. So this is why, the reward is going to constantly increase in value, because it's going to be for eternity. You see, it's never going to diminish. It's never going to lose value. It's never going to be looked at as whatever, It's going to be, glory forevermore. You see? So this thing is definitely worth fighting and worth, constantly, toiling in, because the payoff is not going to fade. It's not going to, the Lord's not going to be like Esau or be like, oh, well, I changed my mind. No, man, it don't work that way. All right. So this is Hebrews chapter 3, verse 12. And it says what? The peril of unbelief. It says, take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief and departing from the living power. You see? And what is peril? It means to be in danger, man. Because what if you leave Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, if the Lord takes the spirit or the faith from you, man, it's a certain death sentence. All right. It says, but exhort one another daily while it is called today. And isn't that the name of Elder Apostle Gabar pays? Daily exhortation. And the elders and the apostles, are great examples of that. They're exhorting us daily with videos, with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, things to keep our faith intact, things to keep us on point, things to keep our swords sharp, so that we're constantly, being fed and nourished through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. It says, while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. For we are made partakers of Hamashiach if we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast until the end. You see? Let me read this in the NLT, verse 14. For if we are faithful to the end, trusting the Most High just as firmly as when we first believed, we shall share in all things, in all that belongs to Hamashiach. You see, that's why he told the disciples when he raised up on the throne of his glory, you're going to be sit upon thrones, man. And Yahweh Shai is going to put us completely on, and we're never going to fall off, man. See, we're going to be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai, man. So that's definitely something that's worth fighting for, because what do you have to gain here in this world? Absolutely fucking nothing. Esau is looking to put a micro C-hip in everybody. He's looking to depopulate the majority of you Jakes. He's looking to suspend habeas corpus and be able to throw you Jake in jail for nothing, So what the hell is there to fight for? And what faith should you have in this temporary situation and setup that we're in right now, man? Verse 15, back in the KJV, it says, while it is said today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your heart as in the provocation. For some, when they had heard, did provoke. Howbeit not all that came out of Egypt by Moses. And hey, We're in the spiritual Egypt right now again. And we're seeing many of our people hardening in their heart as in the provocation, murmuring and talking all type of shit, man. Just like they did against Moses in ancient Egypt, they're doing that today, because those are the same spirits coming back in that same vibration and in that same spirit, and they're going to receive the same judgment that they received coming out of Egypt, man. You see? So we got to make sure that, hey, man, we're staying diligent and know the Most High is not gonna do us dirty, man. He's not gonna change his mind. He's not gonna renege, but he's gonna diligently reward those that diligently seek him, man. So we got to pray that we remain faithful all the way until the end, even in the hour of temptation, even if we got our head in a guillotine, even if we're in a concentration camp and brought before the Rothschilds and these elites, or placed before a firing squad or whatever. Hey, man, we pray that our faith don't fail and we remain faithful, and that we stand firmly in this, in the testimony in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, because hey, that's the only way that we're gonna overcome this devil, is through our testimony and belief in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, man. So I'm gonna close it there. All right, Lord willing, this was edifying. All praise and honor and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua for putting the spirit in me to do this lesson. Lord willing, you were edified. Shalom.